This next, I'll ask Dr. B to come back up again. This is the kind of a pinnacle of our night, a wonderful story, and Dr. B will elaborate more on it, but our Divine Mercy Care Award.
As we've mentioned tonight, we believe that medicine's an act of mercy, that we want to hate the disease, love the patient, and that health is based on relationships. And by collaborating, we can build a place where children are welcomed and abortion becomes unwanted and families strengthened. And so when we move to the area, we believe that the movement in the pro-life movement is to have medical groups collaborate with pregnancy centers to get both the insured as well as the uninsured to give back. Not just excellent medicine, but excellent medicine, and especially to those who are in crisis. And so when I moved to the area, one of the crazy ideas has been, well, we'll just go to the pregnancy centers and we'll just kind of open our doors and let them send their people to us because we'll find a way to take care of them. It's what was promised. And so I ended up going to a office in the middle of Manassas. And it was there that I met the incarnation of Lucille Ball, Mrs. Pat Lohman. Now, Mrs. Lohman, it was like a living version of Lucy. Like myself, sometimes walking around not quite knowing where to find coffee. Always dedicated and always alive when it came to working in her community and helping not just save the lives of baby, but going the extra mile and helping those women and those families in need. She was here long before Tepeyac. We've been here since '94. She's been here a few years before that. It was larger than life when I walked in. There were boxes everywhere. There were gowns, and there were crates, and there were cradles, and there were all sorts of accoutrements for the new birth of a child. And there were these women and some men smiling, working, welcoming me as a doctor to the area. And I remember walking in there going, this is the antidote to the doctor who told me that we weren't going to survive 6 months because we didn't provide abortion services or referrals, and that we cooperatively worked with women's fertility to maximize the language of their body. He said 6 months, and Pat goes, oh no, jump in, the water's fine, it's going to be great. Little did I know. She's been a vital partner in building and defining what pro-life medicine is. In fact, when I think of our friendship and our time together, this is the future of healthcare. This is the type of healing that a former person who did abortions needs to provide excellent medicine to those who come to our practice. It's people like this. It's all people like you, but it's people like this. We've had the privilege of delivering many of her grandbabies. So it's not just, I've had the privilege, talk about a warrior and talk about someone who is so loving. She set up lunch for myself and a few of us with Elizabeth, the woman who owned the abortion clinic right next door to her. This was while she was being tormented by her husband, when she was being tormented by lawyers. She and us, when I say I mean the Tepeyac OBGYN, we both share the dignity or the grace, I guess maybe, of being in a picture above the fold on the Washington Post. That person who wrote that article about you, Pat, may God have mercy on that soul. This is what the Beatitudes are all about, folks, right here. This is what a real anchor of hope is in her community, in our region. Ever since 1994, she's been a vital partner for us. when we went nonprofit, we were trying to figure out how do you cover the dollars and cents. They stepped right up and said, sure, we'll pay for care. I don't know how it's going to come from or where it's going to come from, but we'll figure it out. And every few months, that support came from AAA in Manassas. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that she gave someone her coat one day because the woman had no coat and we were moving towards December. I know petty cash was paid for several times by her own funds. She actually worked for free until just most recently. And the persecution that she's undertaken for this movement, while never lifting a finger, always encouraging us at Tepeyac OBGYN to pray for those folks. Pray for us. Pray for all of us, because we're all part of Daddy's family. The Our Father seemed to be real close to her. And so once again, this DMC award, ladies and gentlemen, is always yearly given to someone who's really helped in the mission of Divine Mercy Care and the Tepeyac OBGYN. The 2017 award is going to be given to my friend, Miss Pat Lohman from AAA Women for Choice in Manassas.
Thank you, everyone. You know, when I look around the room, I've seen so many faces that were not only supporters of Divine Mercy and Tepeyac, but also of AAA Women for Choice. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to also tell you we made a difference in a big way, so thanks. I want to thank my husband. I have my 2 daughters here tonight. They've always been behind me. That is so important, because there were a lot of times when family takes a back seat, but they did so willingly because they knew how important the work was that we were doing at AAA Women for Choice. But now for the real unsung heroes. I want to thank all the people, the wonderful people I worked with at AAA Women for Choice, all the counselors. I can't tell you how courageous and giving they've been. Their Catholic faith was really put into action. I've got all the, in fact, join me in clapping for them. Go over there. They're the most giving men and women, and there were times that they would take people home with them if they didn't have a place to stay. All these things happened, you know, in the past 28 and a half years. Also, there's the board of directors, which some of them were counselors too, and they've been with us from the beginning. And I thank them. Anytime I screamed help, they were there. And then there's Kate Wolf, who did our monthly newsletter, telling of all the miracles that happened at AAA. Great lady. Okay, now, but for the grace of God and Tepeyac Family Center, there's no way AAA Women for Choice could have accomplished saving the lives of the moms and the babies. We needed somebody reputable and caring to send them to. And Dr. B kind of touched on it, how we got started and how we met him. You know, he moved from Maryland to Virginia in the 90s. And one afternoon, he made a visit to AAA Women for Choice. He introduced himself and said, "Pat, what can I do for you?" I almost fell off my chair. I have never had anybody say, "What can they do for me?" let alone a doctor. And I can tell you, from that point on, Tepeyac and Dr. B have been helping us. They're amazing doctors, they're wonderful staff, they treated all our women like they were queens. When our women left AAA to go to Tepeyac, they would come back and tell us they treat us like we really matter. And that's saying it all. You know, where's Dr. B? Where is he? Oh, Dr. B, I think we made a real good team, didn't we? I think so. I know all at AAA also would agree. When you see one of those little faces that wouldn't be here if you hadn't have been able to give the truth to their mom and an offer of help, there is nothing that can describe the feeling. It's as if the smile of God was all around you. And I have been honored to serve in this life-saving team. All I can do is thank God for calling us to serve Him. I thank God for His divine mercy, and I thank God for His outstretched arm, which is Divine Mercy Care of Tepeyac. Thank you.
That's a great segue, Pat. Thank you so much, Pat. An absolute inspiration.